Now that we have created an amazing looking atmosphere, let us add some landscape so that we can complete it. For creating a landscape, I will go to the landscape mode, and here I'll be having a new panel. The Manage tab over here allows you to create and manage the existing landscape actors. So from here, I can create a new landscape. Transform settings allow you to pick at the initial placement and the orientation of the landscape. For now, I will keep it by default. Also, I will keep this enable edit layers unchecked for now, and also the material, I will add the default material. Over here, we have two options. The fill wall option creates a landscape that is size of the entire game space that is currently available. It will just fill the entire map. And the create option will just create the landscape with the selected parameters. If I press create, notice that we are automatically inside the sculpt mode and we have this entire landscape with the default material. The Sculpt tab has tools for deforming the surface of the landscape. There are different brushes and the properties for editing brush sizes and shapes. Firstly, we have the Sculpt tool. With the help of the Sculpt tool, we can either sculpt up or sculpt down the material from the landscape. By pressing the left mouse button, I can sculpt up, and by pressing the shift and then left mouse button, I can sculpt down. Then we have the smooth tool. With the help of the smooth tool, we can smoothen these curves. Something like this. And with the flatten tool, we can just flatten all the sculpting that we have done to a specified height. So here I have flattened everything that I have sculpted. Like this. Then with the help of the ramp tool, we can create a ramp by selecting 2 points. So I can select one point over here, and then I want to create a ramp till here. I can see the height. I can select the height and the length of this, and then just select add ramp. So this will create a ramp kind of structure. Let's go back to sculpting tools. Over here, we have the brush menu. The brush menu allows you to choose the overall shape of the tool being used on the landscape. We have 4 types of brushes. First, the circular brush. This is the most basic and the default brush that we were using until now. Next, we have the alpha brush. This brush uses a specific texture as a mask influenced by the grayscale similar to the height map. Here we have the texture. So it sculpts based on the texture grayscale. Then we have a pattern brush. The pattern brush uses a repeating pattern across the whole of the landscape, which acts as a mask for sculpting. So this also uses a texture, but it applies on the landscape as a pattern. Something similar to this. Then we have the component brush. The component brush affects the whole component pieces of the area that is being sculpted. So suppose I want to increase the height of this whole entire space. So I can just use a component brush and then just accelerate this whole part of the landscape. Then we have the fall off menu. If I go back to the circular brush, we have the fall off menu. It allows you to control the strength of the brush influence on the landscape being sculpted. There are again 4 types of fall off. First, with the smooth fall off. It is the most commonly used type of fall off, and it is the by default selected fall off tool. It is a soft blend between the strong and the weak part of the brush. Then we have the linear fall off tool. It is a direct constant fall off, so it will be creating the sharp edges, as you can see. Then we have the spherical fall off. It is a weaker influential fall off toward the center and increases the stronger influence toward the edge end of the brush. So it will be the softer at between, but it will be sharp at the edges, as you can see here. Next, we have the tip fall off tool. This is a strong influence at the center with a quick fall off to the weaker fall off that slowly disappears toward the edges. Something like this. We also have some of the brush and the tool settings. Inside the tool settings, we can set the strength of the sculpting tool. Suppose if you are using a pen or a tablet with pressure sensitivity, the pressure is used to affect the strength of the tool. Then we can also set the brush size and the fall off. Right now the brush size is by default 2048 units. I can decrease it to work in smaller areas, or I can increase it if I want to work in a larger area.